back to my Skillshop project series. In today's video, I will explain task 8, which is programming the homepage including session management and dynamic latest product listing. In this task, the homepage is no longer static, it is fully connected to the database. It dynamically loads products, testimonials, statistics, and it manages user sessions properly. Okay, now we will move on to the ER diagram. So first, before in the ER diagram, I have only had the user table, the account type, user has account type, remember tokens, password reset tokens, and in this video I have newly added 4 tables, which is in the user layer, the product layer and the order layer. So first, in the user layer I have the user profile table. So here I have a relationship with the user table 1-to-1, and also have a column named avatar URL. So next, in the product layer we have 2 tables. So the first one is the product table. So here I have the ID, then I have the relationship with the user table, seller ID, which is one-to-many. Then I have added title, the description, text, price, decimal, then the image URL, created ad and updated ad. And next I have the feedback table. Here I have 2 relationships with the user table, which both are one-to-many relationships. And below that I have a rating, message, is featured, created ad and updated ad. And finally, in the order layer I have order table. So this order table has a relationship with the product table, one-to-many, and also with the user table, which is also one-to-many. After that we have the column name total amount, decimal, and then we have status. Here we have used the data type as enum. In this, to check the data type, so we can see if the order is being pending or in progress or completed or cancelled. And lastly, I have created ad and updated ad. Now we will move on to the connection.php file. So in this file I have newly updated my search method. So inside a if statement I have if the types are null and if the parameters are empty, it says that you can bind them without the data over here and just execute the query itself. So this method makes it more flexible, and it makes us easier to write queries. Okay, now we will move on to the header.php file. At the very top, inside a PHP scriptlet, we have started a session and then required a connection.php file from the folder db, and inside a ternary operator we have checked, it says if a session variable exists, and then assign its value, else assign false. So this means it prevents undefined index errors. And later that we have inside a if statement, if the user is not logged in, then the system checks authentication rules, and then these values are later used to show the dashboard links, show buyer and seller options, and control the navigation. Okay, now we will move on to the home.php file. Inside this we have included our header.php file, so which means we don't have to require the connection.php file from the folder db, and after that we will move on to get the data from the database. Here in the search query, we are selecting from the product table the ID, the title, the description, the price, the image URL, and from the user table the first name. So here it means the seller's first name, and then it says to count the number of reviews per product, and then as a review count, and then colons average F rating. That means that colons means it ensures if no rating exists, then return 0 instead of null, and inside that we have average, which means it calculates average rating. So it says that we have to select from the product table, as in P, the letter P, and then we have used a join query, and here this means it links the product to the user on seller ID, and then this equal to seller equal to user ID. So this means that the next we have the left join, which means that it joins to the feedback table. So this is important. So here it means that if no reviews exist, then the product table still appears, and in the group by, it means that since we are using count and average, we must group by product ID. This ensures each product becomes one row with aggregated review data. And lastly we have limit 6. So this means it limits the products to 6 which are shown on the home page. After that we are converting this results to an array from the two products to the variable products, and inside that we have if the product result and the product result. So this means it retrieves row as an associative array, and then we will store all the products in the variable product. Okay, now we will move on to the next query. Get the featured testimonials from the feedback table. So in this query, this joins to the feedback and the user profile tables. It selects the rating, the message, user first name, the avatar URL, the ID from these tables. After that we will join them and use a left join. User profile, we will use a where clause, so it means that feedback is featured assigned to 1. So this means only featured testimonials will appear, and it will be limited to 3. That means it ensures only 3 testimonials are shown in the home page. And like before, here also we will get the results as an array to the variable testimonials. And below that we have the query, so we can get the platform statistics. So here in the statistics queries, first we will calculate the total users from the database, the users result. Then we will products count result to this variable. Then we will get the total products from the database to this variable products count result. And in the third query, we will get the average rating to the variable feedback status result. And lastly, we will get the total orders and the revenue to the variable order status result. And then we will get the results as an array to the variables. So here we have total users, total products, average rating. So in the average rating, here we will round the rating to a percentage by multiplying it by 100. Okay, in the last line we have total orders. So this means that if the query has worked, then get the, and the row is also existing, then set the total orders to the database value, or else set total orders 0. Here in same as that, if the query has worked and the row exists, then set the total revenue as to the database value. If not, set total revenue to 0. Then lastly, inside the interval we have given the row and the total revenue divided by 1 million. So this means that inside the revenue interval, it removes the decimals. Now we will move on to the carousel section. So here below the feature carousel, inside the carousel container we have the carousel item, and in that we will first get the count, the product, and then here we will get the product one by one from the for each. So here first get the title, the description from the database, then the price, then we will get the rating of the product and as featured 1, then we will get the review count, and then the image URL from the product table. So this means we'll go on as a loop until all the products are shown horizontally. Then lastly, if there are no products, then it will show a message, no products available yet, check back soon, and then we will end the scriptlet end if. Okay, now we will move on to the testimonial section. So in the testimonial sections, first we will check the count of the testimonials and whether they are greater than 0, and inside a for each loop we will check the testimonials and indexed ID, and then we will include the testimonial avatar URL inside a PHP scriptlet, and then we will get the testimonials first name and the last name again in a scriptlet, and lastly we will get the rating. So inside this inside this scriptlet, first the $stars, the star variable stars, create an empty string. So we will store the star emoji inside this variable, and then for the for loop, this means it will loop variable I is 0, and then it runs until it is less than the rating, and then increases the variable I by 1 each time. So for example, if the rating is 4, then the loop runs 4 times and shows the result. So here this is the operator. So this means add this to the existing string. So each time the loop runs, it shows the emoji star. Okay, now we will move on to the status section. So here in a PHP scriptlet, we have taken the total users, the total products, and the average rating, and the total revenue from the database. So here we are echoing the number format, so this means it formats the numbers with commas. And then lastly, we have also updated our carousel, so it means, so here in a PHP scriptlet we have set to echo the count from the products table, so it will get all the products from the product table and update it over here. Okay, now let me show you the output. So if the user is a seller and the user signs in, you can see that in the carousel section that the products from the database I have inserted are updated over here. So the total products are 6, so it shows all the 6 products in here. And then in our testimonials, so these are the table data that I have entered in my database. So these users are the ones who have written these testimonials. And in the status section you can see my active users, the skills listed and satisfaction rate, and the transaction value has been updated. So in my database there are only 4 users and there are only 6 products, so it means 6 skills, and satisfaction rate is 100% because all of my users have given me 5 ratings over here, 5 stars, so the satisfaction rate will be 100, and the transaction value will be 0 because still nothing has been included for that in the database. In task 8, I have successfully programmed the home page to connect to the database, retrieve latest, calculate review counts and ratings, display featured testimonials, show platform statistics, manage user sessions, implement role-based design control. So this transforms the home page from static design to fully functional dynamic web application. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next Skillshop project video.